Thomas was puffing along. And then Thomas puffed into the yard. What to do today? What to do today? Aha. Oh, Gordon's here. Another Thomas was puffing along. And then the other Thomas puffed away. So Thomas coupled up to the freight train. Unfortunately, Thomas derailed. All pulled the same thing. Whoa! And Thomas derailed because of a truck and another Thomas. And then another Thomas derailed by the same thing. The two derailed things got deleted, and then two Thomases were there. So and then he puffed away. He puffed past Thomas. Let's do the same thing. Thomas switched directions. Thomas went to get one of the log flatbeds. And then Thomas started to puff along. Then Thomas puffed away with his freight train. So Thomas was puffing along with his freight train. It's a wonderful day out today. The sky is blue. Trains are puffing along. And I'm one of them, of course. But most importantly, I think it's a good day to be pulling a freight train. So Thomas was puffing along, and then Thomas passed a station. The truck contained huge ice blocks, and the flatbed contained logs. And then Thomas went on, and then Thomas switched tracks. Whoa, I've never seen a track like this. Wow. Huh. I used points to switch directions. So now, I use this switchy track. So let's continue on my journey. And that's just what he did. Thomas was puffing along just fine. Everything in him and everything was working perfectly. So Thomas was puffing along. And then Thomas was puffing along. Thomas passed the yard. And then Thomas jumped up into the air, and then he derailed. He derailed due to a set of points. What the? Why weren't those points changed? They're like that. And now I'm like this. The log flatbed was okay. that the troublesome truck was close to tipping over, and Thomas was completely off the rails. Later that day, James came with the breakdown train, and then he helped Thomas up. First he was carrying the freight train. First he was carrying the breakdown train, and then Thomas's trucks. After Thomas got fixed, James started to puff along. Stephanie crashed into Annie and Clarabelle. James went to get the express. And then James puffed away. Edward was derailed. Edward was in a mud puddle. So Henry puffed away. And Thomas was trying to pull Annie and Clarabelle. So Percy was puffing along as well. And there goes James. What a wonderful day. So Thomas went to pull Annie and Clarabelle, while Percy switched tracks. Henry was also puffing along. So Percy went over the hill, and then he went on to another set of tracks. Wow. Ah. There was a set of tracks that led to the viaduct. It was already full of stuff. Stepney was also in the viaduct. Another Henry was there. Henry was going to pull a freight train. Another Percy was pulling Annie and Clarabelle, while Stephanie was going a little too fast. So Percy was pulling two coaches. Well, so Percy avoided the viaduct. Percy was already in the viaduct, while Beth was heading in. Why can't I stop? Why can't I go backwards? So Duck fell into the void. Duck fell into the viaduct. What am I gonna do now? I'm in the viaduct. And now Duck's in the viaduct. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of here. Maybe if there was a long version of the breakdown train, then maybe one, and if it had a crane, then one by one it could lift us up. It could lift us up, and then we could be back on the rails. But there is only one breakdown train, and there aren't any versions of them. So there aren't any other versions of them. So we're all stuck.